أهرامات السودان. معظم الناس يعتقدون أن مصر هي الموطن الوحيد للأهرامات، ولكن هذا ليس صحيحاً على الإطلاق، فالسودان أيضاً يحتضن الأهرامات. في الحقيقة، يوجد في السودان 255 هرماً، أكثر من ضعف عدد الأهرامات الموجودة في مصر. تم بناء الأهرامات السودانية من قبل مملكة كوش، المعروفة أيضاً باسم المملكة النوبية. تم اكتشاف حجر شبيه بحجر الرشيد في مروي، وهي عاصمة مملكة كوش. يسمى الحجر المروي ويحتوي على نصوص باللغة النوبية. لا يزال غير معروف ماذا يقول الحجر المروي، ولكن يتم ترجمته حاليا من قبل العديد من العلماء.
This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. On April 15, 2023, an armed conflict between the Sudanese paramilitary organization, Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese Armed Forces began. The conflict initially started in the capital city of Khartoum, and in the Darfur region. However, the conflict has spread across Sudan. Hundreds of people have been killed and thousands have been injured. The whole country of Sudan is incredibly dangerous. American citizens in Sudan are advised to stay indoors in a lower level of a building and not go outdoors at all costs. Do not attempt to evacuate Sudan. Going outdoors will most likely result in you being killed by the conflict. For more information, please visit travelstate.gov. This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The armed conflict between the Sudanese paramilitary organization, Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese Armed Forces have intensified and thousands of people have been killed or injured. The U.S. government is now evacuating U.S. citizens. Tomorrow, a convoy will pick up U.S. citizens from Khartoum and will transport the citizens to Port Sudan, where the U.S. Navy will pick up the U.S. citizens and sail them to safety in Saudi Arabia. U.S. citizens are strongly advised to not miss the convoy, as it is unlikely that another attempt to evacuate U.S. citizens from Sudan will be done. Border crossings are possible, however conditions at crossing points vary and could change quickly. Only travel to a border crossing when it's safe to do so. Whichever method it is, all U.S. citizens must evacuate Sudan immediately. For more information, please visit travelstate.gov. This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The U.S. Navy has successfully evacuated about 300 U.S. citizens from Sudan. There are still thousands of U.S. citizens in Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese Armed Forces have agreed to a 7-day ceasefire. As a result, another attempt to evacuate U.S. citizens from Sudan will happen. At midnight, a convoy will pick up U.S. citizens from Khartoum and will transport the citizens to Port Sudan, where the U.S. Navy will pick up the U.S. citizens and sail them to safety in Saudi Arabia. U.S. citizens must evacuate Sudan as soon as possible.
بالأمس ساعد رجلان يحملان الجنسية الأمريكية والسودانية أحمد رزال مولانا وعدي نوغرها بوتر القوات المسلحة السودانية في قتل 10 من أفراد قوات الدعم السريع، أحدهم نائب رئيس قوات الدعم السريع عبد الرحيم حمداني قالوا. الآن يتم إجلاء هؤلاء الرجال من السودان من قبل البحرية الأمريكية. سيتم تهريب متفجرتين قويتين في سفينة البحرية وتفجيرها عندما تبدأ السفينة في الإبحار إلى المملكة العربية السعودية، على الرغم من أن هذا الهجوم يستهدف مولانا بوتر وليس غالبية المواطنين الأمريكيين الذين يغادرون السودان، إلا أن هذا الهجوم ضروري لقتل هؤلاء الأعداء.
This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. An U.S. Navy ship evacuating U.S. citizens from Sudan has blown up, killing 213 Navy servicemen and 838 U.S. citizens. It has been discovered that the Rapid Support Forces are behind the attack. This is considered an act of war by the Rapid Support Forces. The United States has now declared war on the Rapid Support Forces. U.S. forces will assist the Sudanese armed forces in defeating the Rapid Support Forces. U.S. forces will be deployed to Sudan soon. Territory controlled by the Rapid Support Forces will be invaded and retaken by U.S. forces and the Sudanese armed forces. Most cities in southwest Sudan are controlled by the Rapid Support Forces. If you live in southwest Sudan, leave southwest Sudan now. The U.S. Air Force will attack these cities by airstrikes. If you are U.S. citizens in any other parts of Sudan, stay indoors. Do not attempt to evacuate Sudan. It has gotten to the point where this war has reached a dangerous level that was never seen before. Both combatants and civilians are being killed by the masses. The only way to survive this war is to stay indoors. Going outdoors will result in your untimely demise. It is too late for U.S. citizens to evacuate Sudan. Stay indoors.
اكتشفت الولايات المتحدة أن قوات الدعم السريع كانت مسؤولة عن تفجير السفينة البحرية. أعلنت الولايات المتحدة الحرب على قوات الدعم السريع ومع جنود القوات المسلحة السودانية. غزت الولايات المتحدة نصف أراضينا. تعرضت العديد من المدن التي تسيطر عليها قوات الدعم السريع للهجوم والتدمير من خلال الضربات الجوية للقوات الجوية الأمريكية. تم إسقاط طائرة مقاتلة من طراز F-18 تابعة للقوات الجوية الأمريكية. حملت F-18 قنبلة نووية B-61 وهي قنبلة نووية أقوى 83 مرة من القنبلة الذرية التي دمرت هيروشيما. سيتم وضع القنبلة النووية B-61 داخل صاروخ. سيطلق الصاروخ ويدمر الصاروخ الخرطوم عاصمة السودان. بمجرد تدمير العاصمة ستهزم القوات المسلحة السودانية وستتولى قوات الدعم السريع السيطرة على السودان.
This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces have obtained a nuclear weapon from a shot-down F-18 fighter jet. The Rapid Support Forces have launched the nuclear weapon at Khartoum. U.S. citizens in Khartoum must seek shelter in a building immediately. Stay away from doors and windows. Have a supply of food and water that will last at least 14 days. Radioactive fallout is a byproduct of nuclear explosions. Fallout is deadly. Do not go outside for 14 days to avoid fallout. The missile will impact Khartoum soon. Seek shelter now. This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces have attacked Khartoum with nuclear weapons. Although 14 days have passed, radioactive fallout has spread through Sudan and most of the country is permanently contaminated with deadly radiation. Any U.S. citizens remaining in Sudan must leave by any means necessary. No more evacuation attempts will be made. The Marrow Stone, the tablet with Nubian language text that has recently been discovered in Marrow, has been translated. The translation says, if this Nubian land is destroyed by any nation, then the nation's people will be killed by the pharaoh spirit. A humanoid has been spotted near the Sudanese pyramids. This humanoid is not human. It is believed that this humanoid is one of the ancient Nubian pharaohs that came back to life. The pharaoh has a sword. The pharaoh is presumed hostile. If you encounter this pharaoh, get as far away from the humanoid as you can. Please stay tuned for further information. This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The pharaoh that was spotted near the Sudanese pyramids is killing people in Sudan. The pharaoh is killing 5,000 people per minute. 20,000 Sudanese and counting have been killed by the pharaoh. It is estimated that the pharaoh could kill off the whole population of Sudan in about 10 days. The Rapid Support Forces, Sudanese armed forces and the United States have set their differences aside and are now focusing on killing the pharaoh. Please stay tuned for further information. This is an emergency message from the federal government of the United States to U.S. citizens in Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces, Sudanese armed forces and the United States tried to kill the pharaoh but failed. The pharaoh has killed most if not all of the population of Sudan. Sudan has now fallen. All American operations in Sudan have ceased. All U.S. citizens that still remain in Sudan must find a way to evacuate Sudan as soon as possible to avoid being killed by the pharaoh. May God watch over you all.